Hello, good morning. In this video, let us discuss about the tribunals. Generally, why these tribunals has been set, what are the major functions of these tribunals? Let's see. First of all, going into the article, let's discuss about what is a tribunal. Generally, a tribunal is a quasi-judicial institution established to deal with issues in relation to the administrative or tax-related disputes. Generally, majorly it covers administrative disputes and tax-related disputes, which is a nature of quasi-judicial, that is half judicial type of bench. It performs a number of functions like adjudicating disputes, determining rights between the contesting parties, and making an administrative decision and reviewing an executive administrative decision. For example, there is already a decision has been taken by the administrative authority. In order to reviewing this authority or taking a new administrative decision with respect to the administrative matters, for example, we have CAT, that is the Center Administrative Tribunal. These all the matters can be adjudicated by this tribunal. What is the need for the tribunals when we see? Generally, to overcome the problem of pendency of cases in the courts in order to reduce the workload of the court. We are seeing that there are so many lakhs of cases have been pending in the subordinate courts and various high courts. That's why, in order to resolve this pendency of cases in the such courts and to reduce the workload on them, this type of tribunals can work perfectly to expedite the new decisions and to provide a forum which would be managed by lawyers and experts in areas falling under the jurisdiction of the tribunal in order to create a new method of adjudication by different experts to perform specialized roles in various fields such as hearing the disputes related to environment or somewhat related to the armed forces and tax and administrative issues. All these things, some special roles can be performed by the tribunals with respect to the different special areas and to provide speedy and cheaper dispute settlement to the aggravated parties. Not that much complicated procedure. It can be easily resolved. What are the constitutional provisions given to the tribunals? Generally, tribunals were not the part of the original constitution. They have been incorporated into the constitution by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. When we see, uh, according to this amendment, two articles have been inserted. The first one is the Article 323A and 323B. When we see the Article 323A, it generally deals with the administrative tribunals only. And these tribunals can be established only by the parliament and only one tribunal at the center and one for each state for the administrative purpose can be set up, or two or more states a tribunal can be established. These are the administrative tribunal, center administrative tribunal, state administrative tribunal. Only parliament has the power to establish these administrative tribunals. When coming to the Article 323B, it deals with the tribunals for other matters other than the administrative. For example, when we see National Green Tribunal, that is the NGT, and the COMPAT, that is the Competition Appellate Tribunal, and the Securities Appellate Tribunal, SAT, all these bodies. The Parliament as well as the state legislature have the authority to provide establishment of the tribunals for this purpose for the adjudicating of different disputes for the following matters involving taxation or foreign exchange, import and export, and industrial labor and land reforms, and sealing on the urban property, or elections to the state legislature, and regarding the food stuff, and rights and tenancy, rent and tenancy acts, and tribunals can be established both by the parliament and the state legislature. Here, administrative tribunals only by the parliament, whereas here the for different other matters, parliament and state legislature both have the authority to form, and there can be hierarchy of the tribunals in the formation. These all about the structure and constitutional powers of the tribunal. Let's discuss about different types of tribunals in India. The first one is the administrative tribunal. And let's see what are the functions that involved with respect to the administrative tribunals. Generally, when we see the characteristics of the administrative tribunal, the first one is their origin is statutory. That is, only parliament has been created this tribunal. That's why it is statutory in nature. And these are quasi-judicial in nature. That is somewhat half courts. And power to the summon and witness and administer oath and compel the submission of the document, extract, etc., can be made by them. And based on the principles of the natural justice, not on the civil procedure. They give the judgments based on the principles of the natural justice, not on the civil procedural codes. And writs of prohibition and certiorari are available against the decisions of the such tribunals. Independent bodies, they are the independent bodies and are not subjected to the administrative interference. This is the all things. And coming to the advantages and disadvantages of the tribunals, coming to the first advantages, they offer flexibility when compared to the ordinary courts. They don't involve much strict procedures, all these things. That's why they offer flexibility, and also cheaper and speedy justice. And they also follow procedure followed by the tribunal is simple and easy to understand. Offer relief to the ordinary courts in order to oversolve the burdened cases with their suits. And coming to the what are the disadvantages? In order to providing the flexibility, sometimes they go against the spirit of rule of law. That's why they support the arbitrary power and various partially supporting some institutions or individuals. Uniform code of procedure for civil and criminal cases, however, have been there for the normal courts. There is no uniform code for the tribunals, administrative tribunals in this purpose. Such tribunals sometimes handled by the subject matter experts. Sometimes tribunals can be handled by the subject matter expert. This expert does not have that much experience in solving the judicial proceedings. These are the complications involved in this. And coming to the challenges of administrative tribunals, lack of autonomy in the appointment and funding of these tribunals. For example, in case of L. Chandrakumar versus Union of India and ORS 1997 case, the Supreme Court held that appeals against the orders of the tribunal could be made in the High Court. That means, for example, in a case called L. Chandrakumar versus Union of India and ours, it said that Supreme Court said that appeals, for example, the decision given by the tribunal, you are not accepting it and you are going to appeal against the tribunal in the High Court. Again, what this case means, defeating the main purpose of reducing the burden on the normal courts. Generally, to reduce the burden of the cases on the high courts, these tribunals have been created. Again, you are going to the High Court. Then what's the purpose of this tribunal? And lack of appropriate infrastructure for the tribunals to function efficiently. Lack of infrastructure. Here, one thing is there. When you want to appeal against some cases, you can go directly to the Supreme Court, not to the High Court. And there is in the law. And appointment of retired judges as the chairpersons to the tribunal results in potential show of the favoritism towards certain people in order to ensure that their appointment during the post retirement. For example, you are being a judge and you show favoritism against some executive. That's why when you are after the post retirement, you can appoint the chairperson of a certain tribunal. This is the another litigation involved here, and influence of the executive in the tribunals appointments and other things, lack of the autonomy of the tribunals. These are the some of the litigations here. And what are the other tribunals means? The first one is the Armed Forces Tribunal. The Armed Forces Tribunal has been established under the Armed Forces Tribunal Act of 2007. It will settle the disputes with respect to the commission, emoluments, appointments, and service conditions of the personnel in the armed forces. Its principal bench is in Delhi, New Delhi, and it has 10 regional benches. And coming to the other one, that is the National Green Tribunal. It has been established in 2010 for effective and expeditious disposal of cases that are related to protection and conservation of the environment, forests, and other natural resources. This tribunal has jurisdiction over all civil cases that involving substantial question relating to the environment, including their enforcement of any legal right relating to the environment. And the National Green Tribunal is said to be the special because India is the only third country following such procedure of a system having a green tribunal for relating to the environment matters after Australia and New Zealand. The principal bench of this NGT is in New Delhi, and it has 4 regional benches including Pune, Bhopal, and Chennai, and also other one is Kolkata in the east. And what are the challenges involved here means two important acts have been passed by the government of India, that is the Wildlife Protection Act and Scheduled Tribes other traditional forest dwellers recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006. These two laws have been left out the NGT's purview, which restricts the jurisdiction of NGT and hamper its function. Generally, the matters relating to the environment are under the purview of NGT. By passing these laws, the government has been outlawed the NGT, and a lack of clarity on the position of the NGT till now with relation to the high courts. For example, NGT decisions are a lot many challenged in various high courts under the Article 226 under the argument that high courts are the superior to the NGT. Despite NGT Act provide for your appeal directly only to the Supreme Court, the Act provides Supreme Court as a appealating body. Again, they are going to the high courts. The decision of NGT are not fully compiled by the complied by the stakeholders or governments under the unfeasible time frame. Generally, when a high court or Supreme Court can give a judgment regarding you want to enforce this in this time, that means they must have enforced. But with respect to the decisions of the NGT, they are not complied by the decision given by the NGT in the respective time frame. and a lack of human and financial resources have led to the high pendency of the cases in the NGT, which undermines the NGT's very objective of disposal of appeals within 6 months. And what are the landmark judgments here are first one is the Betty C. Alvarez versus State of Goa and ORS. What this case said that even a foreign national can approach the NGT. Uh, this is the judgment. And second one is the Almitra H. Patel ORS versus Union of India and ORS. What this case said that complete prohibition of open burning on the waste on the lands. Open burning on the way of waste on the lands is prohibited. And Manoj Mishra versus Delhi Development Authority ORS. What's it said means the Art of Living Foundation has been penalized for 5 crore rupees for damaging the Yamuna plains during its conduct of the World Culture Festival. And water dispute tribunals, they are contributed to purpose of settling disputes between the Indian states on the question of water sharing. For example, so-called Kaveri River dispute, Krishna River dispute, or all these things have been come under this type of tribunals that flow through the multiple states. These are generally governed by the Interstate River Water Disputes Act of 1956, according to which a state government make a request regarding any water dispute and the central government is of its opinion that water disputes cannot be settled by negotiations, then central government feels that there is a need for the water dispute tribunal to be constituted for the adjudication of the water disputes. The act has been amended in 2002 to include major recommendations of the Sarkaria Commission. This amendment mandated a 1 year time frame to set up water dispute tribunal and 3 year time frame to given for the decision given by this tribunal. And Interstate River Water Disputes Act of 2019 has been passed in Lok Sabha in July 2019. It states that single water dispute tribunal shall be set up at the center with multiple regional benches. All existing water disputes shall be dissolved. This is the act. And coming to the income tax appellate tribunal, this is the oldest tribunal, has been set up in 1941 as a first experiment in tribunalization in the history of India. It deals with the appeals under the Direct Taxes Act and second appellate authority under the direct taxes and first independent forum in its appellate hierarchy. The orders passed by the income tax appellate tribunal can be appealed only on the basis of a substantial question of law before the respective high court. And currently the tribunal has 63 benches. Difference between the tribunal and court, generally we already discussed all about these things, no need for going further. That's all. Thank you.